whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
I'm attorney Gavin Richard. I grew up here in New Orleans, so I know how important family, friends, and community are to us. And helping others has been a lifelong passion of mine. If you've been injured in an accident, you may be out of work and faced with large medical bills. You'll need someone to fight the insurance companies so that you can get on with your life. Give me a call at 504-799-2288, and I'll be with you all the way. The law offices of Gavin M. Richard, going the distance so that justice may be served. Hi, I'm attorney Gavin M. Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jell-O, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why a trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format.
That is the Facebook page to at Commonwealth Cause. Ladies and gentlemen, at Commonwealth Cause, please subscribe to get more details about our upcoming book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're blessed and doing safe. Tonight is the place to be is right here with me, yours truly, GBoo2786. Let us begin, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss what we will be talking about tonight. Dave Chappelle attacked by a non-FBA bootlick. Riri disrespects Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And two cops fired and charged for assaulting a 73-year-old woman with dementia. All this and more tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on channel GBoo2786, aka Random Topic Tuesdays, the hottest live stream on Tuesday nights. If you're watching via Facebook, if you're watching via YouTube on the backup channel, Gavin Richard or GBoo2786, our main channel, or on Periscope, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and get started. Of course, if you would like, shout out to all who, by the way, have ordered some Creole seasoning. Nonnie's CreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nonnie's goes great with every dish. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go ahead and check out Video Soul on Spotify and Amazon as well as Apple. If you want to go ahead and purchase that, that would be great, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, our main theme song for the evening, Gotta Get On Up. We always play that before we begin because, of course, if we're going to get on down, we got to get on up. So let us go ahead and get on up, and we will.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet.
Show me what you got.
Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so If you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby.
Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up.
Baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Yeah, y'all see I got bags behind me. Still got the Christmas bags here. What's going on, everybody? Hold on 1 second. Let me turn. Let me go ahead. I gotta close the door because people are in the back watching their stories. It's Tuesday night, so must see TV on NBC, I guess. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel GBoot2786. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing this evening, everybody? If you love the channel, if you like what we're seeing, give me a thumbs up in that chat. Let me get you to hit that subscribe button too. I got to, so hold on 1 second. I had something up. Hold on, guys, I'm sorry. Of course, Monday, as we know, yesterday was the anniversary. Well, it wasn't exactly his day, his birthday, but it was. No, I'm not opening Christmas presents. That's just the tags and stuff to put on the presents that's in the bag. But yeah, every day is a Christmas present, Darius. But as we know, yesterday was the birthday, or the day that the United States celebrates Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday. Uh, but also, ladies and gentlemen, was a birthday of another great man and someone who, well, two birthdays rather, that I noticed we didn't pay attention to. This person is still alive. This man, great actor, a man who has been in countless movies. You know him from, of course, uh, King Joffrey Jufur and Coming to America, as well as Jack Johnson or John Jefferson was the role that he played and made famous in The Great White Hope. Ladies and gentlemen, that man, of course, is none other than your James Earl Jones. Well, his birthday was yesterday, so I want to say happy birthday to happy belated birthday to 93-year-old James Earl, 92-year-old rather, James Earl Jones, who's still here. And this is CNN, or rather not. This is BNN, Black News Network. And also, ladies and gentlemen, is the birthday yesterday. Had he lived, it would have been his 80th birthday if he were here. And of course, I'm talking about the man who is the first heavyweight champion, three-time heavyweight champion of all time. He has fought the battles with Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Sonny Liston, Leon Spinks, and many, many others. Ronnie Lyle, Ken Norton, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Ernie Shavers. He's fought all these people. Ladies and gentlemen, he would have been 80 years old. Happy birthday to the greatest of all time, Mr. Muhammad Ali. We miss you, champ. We love you. Y'all put a happy birthday for the champ in there. Because I'm the greatest of all times. That's that old Ali. I'm the greatest of all time. Fast Ali. I was the greatest of all time. I told you. I told you when I beat Liston. I told you when I booked Frazier. I said, never doubt me again. I told you I was going to beat that big old mama, George Foreman. I did it. He swung like a sissy. I said, let me see your box. He had no power. I said, you hit like, supposedly hit like Joe Louis. You hit like a sissy. Come on, boy. Because I'm the greatest. That iconic picture right there. Just when he knocked down Sonny Liston. Of course, he had to deal with his greatest enemy and his biggest opponent. That even his biggest opponent was outside of the ring, battling racism, battling United States government for resistance to theft. And he beat the biggest bully of all time, the United States government. Now, there was actually a movie on his refusal to fight in the Vietnam War. It was not this movie. This is a documentary, but it was called Ali's Greatest Fight, if I'm not mistaken. And Ali clearly was the greatest of all time. Clay versus the United States. This was a landmark Supreme Court decision when the United States Supreme Court unanimously agreed with Ali. And, your Thurgood Marshall could not take the case. He was an opponent, actually, of the Black Muslims. But he was the Solicitor General. Not the Solicitor General, but he was involved previously with the United States Department of Justice in that case. So he had to recuse himself. But if you watch the film that they had on the movie that HBO did, Muhammad Ali's Greatest Fight, they went in detail talking about that. So that was a pretty good movie. If you can find on HBO, came out in 2013. It was actually worth it. You should take a look at it. We're going to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, get started. Speaking of foundational Black Americans, white supremacists hate Ali, of course. They try to, and this is the thing we notice especially, and I'm tying this in because we're going to talk about Dr. King in a second. They like our leaders when they're passive and quiet. Nick Wright, I don't know if you watch Fox, but this little white boy, who's a sports commentator. I believe his name is Nick Wright, if I'm not mistaken. He had a show with Chris Carter before he got fired. They had a show on Fox Sports. And yeah, Nick Wright, that's his name. Little mousy white dude. But he actually was on Colin Cowherd, and he said the most compelling commentary about Muhammad Ali after he died. He said that America never liked Muhammad Ali. He said America liked Ali when he couldn't speak. When Muhammad Ali was sick, when Muhammad Ali was battling Parkinson's disease, everybody cared about that Muhammad Ali because he could not defend himself. Just like when Richard Pryor could no longer speak because of the multiple sclerosis he had. Now they want to talk about how they loved Richard Pryor, giving him his flowers. But remember, and I remember when Ali died, how the media was trying to whitewash his legacy as, he was a champion for all. He loved everybody. And let me say this. I've been to Dallas, Texas. I'll never forget wearing a Muhammad Ali shirt. And I was inside. You guys may know where the mall is in Dallas, but across the freeway, I was staying at the DoubleTree Hotel, and I believe across the street is the Galleria Mall, which is in Dallas. And I was there. I was in the Dillards, and there were nothing but Arabs and Pakistanis in that area. And I'm wearing this Muhammad Ali shirt. And as soon as I'm walking in, and this was when Ali died, this was in 2016, they were all smiles. They were in, was it? Yeah, and I can't remember what mall. It was a mall right across from the. It was off the North Central Express. It was off the expressway. No, I'm sorry, North Park Center. That's the mall. Excuse me. Yeah, North Park Center. Around Loop 12. Yeah, I think that was it. I can't remember. I'll never forget. Yeah, because I remember. I think the DoubleTree was there, but nevertheless, to see those people, excited. That's where I was. Yeah, North Park Center. Yeah, so it's a DoubleTree. I was okay. That's it. To see those people excited about me wearing this Muhammad Ali shirt was something because they were putting their fist up. That's the type of impact and power Muhammad Ali had, and in fact, he is the only uh, American outside Brother Malcolm X who has a stamp on Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, those two, the only two Americans. The only two Americans. Yeah, it's a nice mall. Too bad we don't have that here, Danielle. He had mass appeal. He was just like Michael Jackson. He was only rivaled by Michael Jackson to me in terms of popularity and global, as a global citizen. Wherever he went, he attracted people. People flocked to him. He had that personality. He had that appeal. So he was universal. But we talking about that, and then we talk about Dr. King. Everybody likes Dr. King now because he can't talk. Now, I guess I'll just go ahead, and this is a way to segue into our first topic about Riri disrespecting Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So we're going to talk about this, by the way. I hope she's watching. Shout out to Nicole from Nicole's View. I'm on, yeah. Shout out to her. She's getting much better. We love you, Nicole. Yeah, let's talk about Big Head Riri. Now, I could tell you all, honestly, I'll never forget when my brother brought home a Rihanna CD. Now, the first thing my brother did when he listened to the CD, after Pun Pun the replay, he looked at me, looked at the CD. This was years ago when this came out. I said, "Man, this bitch can't sing." Just threw the CD in the fucking garbage can. Man, she can't sing. Same thing with he did the same thing with Ashanti. Like, she can't sing this shit. You throw this away. You ever had a song you spent, you think about this now with CDs and money, when you bought a CD, that meant something. It's just if you had to choose between your last few dollars in buying a sandwich versus buying a CD, and you bought a CD, that means you really invested into it. And so, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And yeah, music of the song. No, she can't sing. Do y'all think Rihanna can hold a candle to Whitney Houston or even Mary J? I'm starting high. Let's say Mary J. Blige. Even Mary J. Blige could blow Rihanna away. Pun pun, yeah. She couldn't sing Mariah Carey. Yeah, exactly. Hell to the nah, to the no, no, no. I think she hit Chris Brown first. I've heard, there's a video online of Rihanna singing "Work Work," that song she did with Drake, and they took all of it's just straight vocals. They took all the reverb off. They took all of the effects off. No, she could not. Yeah, she busting with that alien head. Yeah, exactly. That wasn't a water. That wasn't just no alien head. That was Alien Nation head. You remember that Alien Nation movie? Hold on a second. Y'all remember Alien Nation with Jimmy Kahn? Remember the TV series? Okay, hold on. This, all right. This is what Chris Brown had to deal with. Biblica. That head was reeling in real deal Holyfield. That's why Tyson got frustrated and he bit Holyfield from all them headbutts. that stuff hurt. That Mars Attacks head. Yeah, she did. But Chris, of course, being that he was a man and he took the heat for, yeah, he was the one that took the heat for it. Now, I'll never say Chris Brown was right for hitting Rihanna. I don't want anybody to think that. I've handled, as a lawyer, I handle domestic violence cases, so I'm not going to co-sign that Tupac Biggie. I'll just say this. If she assaulted him, she could have been charged as well and should have been, because sometimes that happens where they will arrest both parties if the police show up and they cannot identify who did what first. They arrest everybody. She had injuries. Yeah, they were both wrong, but Chris is the one that's taking the heat. He still takes the heat for it. But I'm not here because of Rihanna's head or what Chris Brown said. But Rihanna, of course, had this picture up of Dr. King on her Twitter handle, on our as her Twitter cover photo. And of course, my brother, Professor Black Truth, put this out. He said, I noticed after my tweet about Rihanna, a ton of hood rats came out of the woodwork defending her and hood rats explaining. Rihanna and Nicki Minaj really ought to be fixing the islands they ran away from instead of mocking the DAS FBA people they desperately wish they could be. Now, they have the nerve to call Rihanna Riri. And I know I called her Riri. Last few years, and that is Aretha Franklin. And Riri is not Aretha Franklin by no means. She's not even Aretha Franklin's granddaughter. Now, Nicki Minaj, now I noticed, and the reason why I was bringing up Muhammad Ali earlier is that you and other leaders and hero Muhammad Ali and Richard Pryor and other heroes is that these are foundational Black Americans, as what Tariq Nasheed would say, and they had mass appeal. Dr. King, of course, is our only Black hero that has a national holiday in his honor. And a man who was assassinated by members of this United States government, as was Malcolm X. So I never forgot what Nicki Minaj said. I never forgot what Rihanna said. I never forgot when Nicki Minaj did with Malcolm X and people calling her out for that. And Nicki Minaj, of course, she is not FBA. She's from the islands. She has family from the islands, just like Cardi B is not from the United States. She's got that island part of her. From the even though, yeah, she's born in the United States, but her family is from her family from the Dominicans and Trinidad and so forth. So she has that accent. And Rihanna, who has been around for a little bit, she's from Barbados. And she is listed now as, I believe, as being a billionaire, if I'm not mistaken. She's the wealthiest female musician with an estimated net worth of $1.7 billion. Now, the people who listen to her following is mostly white. Most hip hop artists right now, all hip hop, all music, if you look at hip hop and R&B, the biggest listeners are white people. And that's because, in part, we have more white people in the United States. It's not a surprise. And many of these white artists, they copy and listen to black artists. Look at the Beatles, look at the Bee Gees. I just saw a documentary on the Bee Gees. You see, I know my music. The Bee Gees actually said how they started singing falsetto. Why they started doing that was because they were listening to the Stylistics and the Delphonics, the Temptations with Eddie Kendricks. You notice they always sang in falsetto. Eddie Kendricks was the lead before David Ruffin. Now I'm looking here. She is listed as, well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seventh as far as total certified units, is the best-selling artist of all time. One of the best, of over 250 million albums. The Beatles have 600 million, Elvis at 500, Mike has 400. I call BS on that. I think Mike outsold everybody. And so, and by the way, they were really disrespecting our brother Mike. They were disrespecting Mike on Fox News, that Tucker Carlson idiot. I think I have I know Nicole has the video. Nicole is too much with Michael Jackson, my Lord. That's like her pastor. One thing you don't do is mess with the pastor. And she's a fanatic. But yeah, Tucker Carlson posted some crap on Mike. Maybe I could play it right quick. But notice what she did. I'm trying to stay on topic though. But notice what she did with Dr. King with the gold teeth and a diamond ring in his ear. Now my brother Sean James has a video on it, on Rihanna disrespecting Dr. King. And yeah, look, I'm not a prude myself. I like to laugh at stuff. I'm not going to sit here and say certain things. You can't laugh and have fun. Of course you can do that. But to put Dr. King in gold teeth with that stud earring was an insult. And they've used the holiday. And look, it's not just her. I remember this. I remember this. Did y'all see this? There was, I hate BT. These are some of the worst flyers for King Day. The freedom to twerk, Martin Luther King Day weekend party. See, I'm not just gonna go on reread this. She's not the only one. In fairness, she's not the only one. Freedom to twerk. Like I said, I'm Lord. And I'm gonna say this again because I would sound hypocritical if I didn't say, because as someone who has performed stand-up comedy, I respect the art. Uh, and this is stand-up comedy. I have made jokes about everybody. And yes, there have been jokes that involve Dr. King. I've done jokes that talked about Ali. I've done jokes that of Jesse Jackson. I've done jokes on myself. Everybody. That's exactly right, Tupac Biggie. Yeah, a black woman was did stab Martin Luther King in the chest, dementia, and if he had sneezed, he would die because the blade was near his aorta. Or actually, it did hit his aorta, and he almost died then. Matter of fact, nobody talks about this, but Dr. King's mother was assassinated. His mother, Alberta, was shot and killed in church. Most people don't realize that. Excuse me. But freedom to twerk, MLK. This is one here. I'm not. This is the one here. They got Dr. King. They got Dr. King looking like he's about to shoot an offset video. Look at that. He's with the Migos. Ooh, hello. But yeah, this is some straight BS. So no, Rihanna is not the only one, but Rihanna is the one that came forward, is the one that put this on here, and people let her have it. Our brother, Professor Black Truth, told her off, let her have it. I remember when Nicki Minaj said some stuff about Malcolm X, and it all goes to my point that people like these people just because they don't like these people, and by that I mean they like what they like, not necessarily them, but they like what you can do for them. They have no real respect for Muhammad Ali. They have no real respect for Dr. King. They have no real respect for Malcolm X. They have no respect for you. They have no respect for Thurgood Marshall. They had no respect for Medgar Evers. If they did, they wouldn't have put bullshit out like this. I remember when Outkast said something slick did something about Rosa Parks in a song about her that a lot of people didn't like. So people do say stuff out. I remember Emmett Till, Lil Wayne made a reference to Emmett Till about excuse my French to those there, but we got adults in the room, but beating the pussy up till it looked like Emmett Till. And Pepsi, because people, and I'll give credit where credit is due, Dr. Boyce Watkins actually called out Lil Wayne for that. as well as his family, the Emmett Till family. And Lil Wayne did apologize for it because remember, Lil Wayne had a deal with Pepsi. Yeah. Berta King, who was Dr. King's mother, was playing piano. And while she was playing piano in church, she was shot and killed by a guy named Marcus Wayne Chennault, who was a 23-year-old black man from Ohio who was a black Hebrew Israelite. And his mentor, Reverend Israel of Cincinnati, castigated black civil rights activists and black church leaders as being evil and deceptive, but claims in interviews he did not advocate violence. Chennault did not draw any such distinction and actually first decided to assassinate Reverend Jesse Jackson in Chicago, but canceled the plan at the last minute. 2 weeks later, he set out for Atlanta, where he shot Alberta King with 2 handguns as she sat at the organ at the Ebenezer Baptist Church. Chennault said that he shot King because all Christians are my enemies, and claimed that he had decided that black ministers were a menace to black people. He said his original target was MLK Sr., but he decided to shoot his wife instead because she was near him. He also killed one of the church deacons, Edward Boykin, in the attack, and Mrs. Jimmy Mitchell, a retired school teacher, suffered a wound to the neck. It seemed like I was watching a scene from a bad movie play out, King's daughter would later recall in her 2009 memoir, Through It All. So they were rushed to Grady Hospital, where she was barely alive, but of course, she didn't make it after she was shot in the right side of her temple. So he was sentenced to life in prison. He was first sentenced to death. They reversed it because the King family opposed the death penalty. He suffered a stroke in August of 1995 and died several days later at the age of 44 from complications of a stroke. Yeah. Nicki Minaj is the same one. Yeah, she attacked Michael B. Jordan. Didn't she have some fucking nerve over that Joe Vert rum brand? Yeah, Joe Vert rum brand. Yeah, because it was a festival. No, she did not, because that's who she appeals to. So, what did y'all think of Riri's picture of Dr. King? Now, I'm actually going back here. But this is what this is what we're dealing with. She's promoting her new song Savage. It's her lingerie. I said song, excuse me, her lingerie. So, but she still has this up here. You know, it's a new day and era. People are not going to tolerate stuff like this. There are a lot of people who will not tolerate stuff like this. And, you know, Dr. King gave his life so that Rihanna Black people really in general could have rights in this country. And you know what was funny too, speaking of Dr. King, did y'all know that the FBI even put out a tweet celebrating Dr. King's birthday, his holiday? And a lot of people, even me, I had to comment on this. Hold on a second. I'm gonna I'm gonna share with you all because I had to comment on this. Somebody posted this. I thought this was funny. Today, the FBI honors the life and work of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A quote from Dr. King is etched in stone at the FBI's Academy's Reflection Garden in Quantico as a reminder to call students and FBI to all students and FBI employees. The time is right is always right to do what is right. The time is always right to do what is right. The FBI put this out. The FBI of all people to do what is right. Okay, do what's right. Release those files and tell us who shot King. You want to do what's right? Confess. J. Edgar Hoover. Shout out to Darius. Shout out to DeAndre. Oh yeah, they've been always attacked. They've always gone after the King family. Gone after Malcolm's family. A lot of people. But J. Edgar Hoover was the worst. But that's the big, isn't that the big pot calling the kettle black? The FBI celebrating Dr. King's life. They're like Lucius Lyon after he killed Bunky. All right, Bussy Hoover. Y'all want to know the secret too about J. Edgar Hoover? You know the reason why it's rumored the mafia, you all probably know about, you already hint this, but notice he never really, if you look at history books, he never, even up until there was something called the Valachi hearings back in the 1950s, he never acknowledged the existence of the mafia. He never would. And it was rumored the reason why he didn't was because Meyer Lansky and those other mafiosos, those mafia captains, had some photos of J. Edgar Hoover in an uncompromising position with his second in command. His name was, hold on a second. J. Edgar Hoover's second in command was Clyde Tolson. He was his protege and longtime deputy. He inherited his estate. They were never he was never married, and neither was Hoover. So put two and two together. But that's what's, yeah. Hold on, let me show everybody. But that's what was rumored. But yeah. But Rihanna, yeah. I don't even listen to Rihanna's music. I don't really care. Never was really a fan of hers per se. Yeah, I know. I mean, practically some stuff I like. I'm not gonna lie. There's some songs that catch. And that's mainly because the music that they put out today is not so much the music people wants to hear, but what the record company wants you to hear. And that's a difference. There's a reason why uh, if you got artists, old school artists like New Edition or uh, Babyface or whoever that comes out with new music, I'm just giving examples. You don't hear that often played on the radio. They're not pushing them. Just like New Edition even said that when they were interviewed by the Breakfast Club. It's not that I didn't stop making music. Y'all not pushing my shit. But that's Clyde Tolson there. That's J. Edgar Hoover's J. Edgar Hoover's deputy. But and that's J. Edgar Evil. And since we're talking about taking down Confederate monuments, the FBI's building that sits out there in Washington, D.C. should remove his name from there, but we know that won't happen. But he was a vehement racist. But you know, he was also, and the only thing I could give him credit for was he helped basically form the modern police department. He was a great investigator. I give him kudos on that, but to hell with him as an individual and as a person. I give kudos on his ability to infiltrate. No, that's a bad. Wait, hold on. I take that back. I hate the word infiltrate. No. Not with Hoover. I give him credit for his ability, obviously for his police work and as an investigator, but no, I don't care for him as a human being. All right. So hit that like, share, and subscribe. Oh, that says a lot. Rihanna supported that slave play on Broadway. Well, not FBA. Let's go ahead and get into this next one, ladies and gentlemen. I want to push the time here. So we were talking about Riri. Now I want to talk about this. So Dave Chappelle attacked by a non-FBA bootlick. Now I have been hearing I was looking up some information about this Jamel Lemieux. Now, your Tariq Nasheed, King Flex, was going in on her with regards to this hit piece that she did on our brother, the great comedian Dave Chappelle. Now, those that don't know, let me just tell you all what the article is entitled to. So, Jamila Lemieux, excuse me, not Jamel, wrote an article for the Vanity Fair called Dave Chappelle and the Black Lie That Keeps Us Down. So, as you know, it's all in rainbow. They have pictures, a headshot of Dave. I believe I've counted at least 10 headshots that they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Excuse me, 9 headshots that they had of Dave Chappelle. And basically, it's in rainbow colors, so you know where it's going. The subtitle of this is The Comedian Perpetuates the Idea That Straight Black Men Have It Worse Than Any Other Group of Black People, Including Black Women and LGBTQ Black People. Now, I watched that special, and I don't remember Dave Chappelle talking about LGBTQ Black people. He just talked LGBTQ. Now, it doesn't take long until in reading the article to see how far south she went. But before I go to the article, let me just go ahead and start with some information about your Jamila Lemieux. Now, I'm on Twitter, so I'm just pulling up something. Because I believe she was. So Tariq had this up earlier, and he gets some information about. Uh, okay, so here it is. I'm sorry. I was just here looking at it, so I'm about to share the screen with you all. Let me go ahead and paste and go here so we can take a look at this. So Jamila Lamu writes this article, and Tariq, of course, when he sees them attacking one of us, King Flex will always come to the rescue. Now, this is what he wrote and tweeted about. It says the white media got one of their non-FBA flunkies to act as their cover for their anti-black hit piece on Dave Chappelle. I tweeted this 3 years ago. We need to do an anti-black propaganda piece, but we need to find black people to speak for us so it won't seem racist. Jamila Lemieux, a blue hair cultural critic. Now, Lemieux, if I'm not mistaken, wrote an even terrible article, a worse article about black men in particular. And I'm just looking at some of it. Now, she's a cultural critic. Okay, that's a bad sign right there. You know, who makes money being a cultural critic? You make money basically hating on other people. That's what essentially it is. I'm a cultural critic. Okay, so that where I come from means you're a hater. And so yeah, I believe she wrote this article. Let me see if I can find some of her articles here because I was just doing some. I semi remember uh, some stuff that she wrote, and whatever she writes, she of course has to write something very negative about black men. And she wrote this also on top of this. She was an editor for Digital Ebony. So, and we know why Ebony is folding right now because Ebony actually is losing their own, is losing money. They actually were damn near bankrupt. Bob Johnson would be rolling in his grave at what Ebony has become. Black men are the new white men of black people. That was her. I don't think that was her. No, that was a guy by the name of Damon Young. And I remembered your Jamel Hill co-signing that. That I remember. But your Jamila Lemieux, so she writes this piece on Dave Chappelle attacking our brother. And of course, you could tell it was some BS the way it's written. And I'm going to go over it. But he gave, oh, that's funny. But Dave gave some, Tariq gave some information about Miss Lemieux that I think we should say. So her father, interesting enough, was a Black Panther. Her father was Jamami Lepew. Black King had it right. Jamali Lepew. Now you're I'm trying to see. Tariq had it up. I hope he didn't take it down, but he had some information about and was talking about her father, Daniel Lemieux. Now Daniel was a member of the is an FB. Okay, so here it is. So he put this up, and he says since a lot of people are dragging Jamila Lemieux right now because of her COINTELPRO style antics, let me remind you who raised her. Her dad joined the Chicago Black Panther Party shortly after informant William O'Neill. The same year Fred Hampton was killed, her dad became a cop. Mm. So according to this piece, now I don't know where this piece came from. I don't know if I can verify it, but O'Neill was a paid FBI informant. You remember O'Neill was the one who helped to set up Fred Hampton, although it was honestly there were so many moles and holes in that organization. There was you know, you would lose count of them. Excuse my explaining. You would lose count of how many rats were in that group, because it wasn't just O'Neill, but he was one of many. He was an informant. So Mitchell recontacted O'Neill and instructed him to join the BP. And he was the second youngest member of that chapter in 1969. I don't know who this Mitchell is from this article. So he joined after William O'Neill. Okay. And her mother was a member of SNCC. Now, yeah, she's on that straight black men bullshit. Yeah, exactly. But she didn't write that article, but I'm pretty sure she would give it a thumbs up. Right. Her father is in The Spook That Sat by the Door. That's exactly correct. And that film in particular, since you brought that up, Black Voltron, let me talk about that for a minute. That film was not even shown in theaters because of the controversy that surrounded it. The theater owners were afraid to release it. The studios were afraid to release it. It was based off of a book, and it was shot in Gary, Indiana, which was, of course, where the Black Panther Party was in. Paula Kelly was in it. She just recently died. She played, we know her from Night Court. She played the first public defender before Markie Post played Christine. She played also in Sanford and Son. She was Olea when Lamont Goes African. I remember that episode. Yeah, she was Liz Williams. That was her name. Yeah, great actress, beautiful sister. So she was in that movie. And yeah, so Tariq is talking about this, and when he talks about this stuff, he has his facts. So he's got the white man festival dress. Yeah, he played Pretty Willie in the film. Now the film is actually in the registry, National Film Registry. So it was removed from theaters. It was released, but then they removed it from the theaters because of the controversy it surrounded. But this Jamila Lemieux, who wrote this hit piece on brother Dave Chappelle. Let's look at it, because I want to look at it and share it with you. So she goes in and starts talking about Dave. She goes in and starts talking about Dave and the special and how disappointed she was in hearing it. You know, so she starts this off by saying this. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes. Now, you can tell from how it starts, it's bad because she says here, I was in a bad state for about a week after the closer. Pith, disappointed, confused, watching how many black folks, including some I know and love deeply, puffed their chests out alongside comedian Dave Chappelle and echoed his conviction that the alphabet people were being given something, civil rights that the blacks were not receiving with the same ease. Where did the belief that queerness or trans identity makes someone any less of a nigger or nigga for that matter originate? That black LGBTQ people don't experience racism and the phobias align with other parts of their identities. Well, I can tell right there, she didn't watch the special. She's a negress. She's a Negro poop. Not nincompoop, Negro poop. So she starts off bad with that. And let's look at this. If you watch the special, in truth, Dave never mentioned really anybody of color. He never mentioned a black LGBTQ in the comedy special. He was talking about that group in particular. And we know that that group primarily, let's just face it, is white. She's white. They're white. Most of them are. Yes, there are black people who identify with that, but there are black people who identify with it and make the mistake of putting their sexuality first. And race never comes second to sexuality or even religion for that matter. Look what happened with Michael Sam. Michael Sam joins the NFL, all-time, not an all-time great. Doesn't spend that much time in it, but he even talked about how he had to deal with more racism in the homosexual community than he had to deal with quote-unquote homophobia in the black community. Black people are the ones that took these guys in. We didn't support it. We didn't go off, we didn't hold hands with you, but why is it always this attack on black people? What is it? She goes on by saying, see, my people are sensitive and rightfully so. We've been bruised and battered from every angle. Racism has rubbed us so raw that a symbol of progress for other marginalized groups can easily feel like an affront. Okay, well, what other marginalized groups? Because first off, well, let's look at this. All right. You have other groups of people, yes, that have gone through discrimination, racism. I mean, we can talk about Italian Americans that have had to go through racial prejudice. Yeah, they did. Irish people, Irish immigrants who came here. Yeah, Chinese. But here was the thing. Utmost important to remember. Those groups chose to come over here. They chose to come over here to look for a better life. Blacks did not have a choice in coming over here. And when they got free labor off the backs of black people, they left them with nothing. Well, he couldn't play for shit. But my point was, and look, they hyped him up because, and let's be real, because he was gay. He was touted as the first openly NFL gay player. ESPN had the cameras on him for longer than even the other draftees. But my point being, they pumped and played him out. He went to the St. Louis Rams. He couldn't do anything there. Then he went to Dallas and couldn't do anything. But for time's sake, so let me just go further because I don't want to get off. She starts, and here it is. This is how bad it gets. But the black man is too often coded language for the facetious black man, and the degree to which any and all other groups of black people are suffering, that is up for debate. This could just be chalked up to sexism and various other phobias, what, arachnophobia? But I think it's deeper than that. Hydrophobia, arachnophobia, aerophobia, what? Why is it if you, so what phobia? A phobia means a fear. The fact that if you look at, let's just look at this for example. I'm going to put it to you like this. There are other groups of people, there are religious groups, let's say Muslims, who do not support homosexuality or transgenderism. They don't allow with it. Do you think Jamila Lemieux is going to write an article that would criticize Russell Peters, who's Arab, or if he had a joke about LGBTQ? Do you think she would talk about, you know, bigotry going on in the Islam Arab community or the Pakistani community? Do you think she would say anything like that? Let's look further. I'll switch it around. The Orthodox Jews, for instance, there are some Orthodox Jews I know of who were not, there are some Orthodox Jews who have come out recently and stated when they were talking about making kids learn about LGBTQ history in schools, they came out in droves and protested and said, absolutely not. Do you think Jamila Lemieux would write an article criticizing the Jewish community about that? The Orthodox Jewish rabbis? Hell no. Yeah, exactly. The dude dropped in. That whole thing that happened in New York, the riot that took place in '69, you know, that they even made a national. They got a statue of two men sitting on the step, sitting on a bench kissing each other. The riot, what was it called? Stonewall. Excuse me, Stonewall riot. I have been hearing that actually was based, not even based off of LGBTQ stuff. I heard that, yeah, they made a national monument out of that. Obama's, guess who did it? It was Barack Obama who celebrated it. The Stonewall, yeah. I heard that was a front for the mob, from what Tariq was talking about. Yeah, black people took them in. I mean, look, and we've lived around people like that. Little Richard, we knew was gay. Billy Preston, Johnny Mathis. We all knew those people were gay, but guess what? We didn't hold hands with them. We didn't co-sign what they did. They didn't co-sign that stuff. That wasn't part of their that wasn't part of the culture. That wasn't their thing. Why is it wrong if you say, no, I'm not comfortable going here? I'm not comfortable with doing that. And look, I mean, New Orleans is there's a very vibrant gay culture. I see it all the time when I'm doing open mics. There's no way you can go on St. Claude Avenue or even if you're going down St. Claude, headed towards the lower Ninth Ward, you will see bars with the rainbow flag on it. If you go in the French Quarter, they got hotels with rainbow flags posted out there. They don't have anything for, of course, no Black Pride flag. You don't have the red, black, and green flag. But let me just go further because I'm gonna wrap it up. But yeah, wrap it up on this topic. But let me just show you all something. So yeah, this was an article on the Stonewall riots, but I heard that this was a front for the mob. And that was really what it was about. Tariq went in detail about the Stonewall riot, and he talked about it. Yeah, the mafia owned the bar. So this is not Greenwich Village bar Stonewall Inn was owned and operated by the New York Mafia. Yeah, if you saw the movie, if you watched The Sopranos when they found out Vito was gay, one of the characters, yeah, you keep it in the bedroom. They kept it in the bedroom. It's out of the bedroom now. But the character Vito, who was LGBTQ, who was gay, he was spotted in one of the bars while the mafia members were doing a collect. So they've always existed, but it wasn't something that was celebrated. It wasn't something, certainly, I don't remember gay cartoons. I don't remember a president endorsing it openly as gay. The first so-called black president, no, it wasn't the full truth either. Same as Atlanta. Yeah, exactly. But I want to just go back further. Let me just show you how bad this article is written. Now, look who she quotes. Brittany Cooper, the Professor Crunk. Crunk, you know Crunk? That's her. She quotes her saying, black men growing up believing and moving through the world politically as though they have it the toughest, as though their pain matters most, as though black women cannot possibly be feeling anything similar to the dehumanization and disrespect they have felt. There is little to no consideration of what those of us who are harmed by misogyny and maybe even hurt even worse might endure. It might, in many cases, be far worse for us, Lamers Cooper, seems to many men as a preposterous supposition. No, you're forgetting something. No, it is not that women can't suffer, or we're not thinking that our women don't suffer. Of course they do. But you know what? A society looks to men, and this is what everybody has to remember, as it's not only as its leaders, but and it does look to them as its leaders. It does look to them as its leaders, but not only that, it looks to men as the biggest threat. When you're at war, it's the men who are on the front lines. When you get a knock on the door, if you hear a strange noise in the middle of the night, a wife doesn't go up and look to see what the noise is. No, she sends her husband to see what the noise was. The husband sleeps closer to the door. Shit goes down. He's right there. He's got the gun. He's ready. Stay ready so you don't have to be ready. But that's not saying, yeah, of course our women can suffer from misogyny. Nobody says that they don't. But I want to go further. Now, with bringing in Dave Chappelle, look what she's talking about here. Black women who have not been particularly outspoken about Chappelle's treatment of us in his work have not been particularly outspoken about Chappelle's treatment of us in his work. Before daring to wade into the mess of a media cycle, I had been too badly burned by reactions to my criticism of actual sex offenders like Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. Now look what she says about Bill. Here it is. Whose conviction for aggravated indecent sexual assault was overturned on a technicality. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we know about the Bill Cosby case? What have I told you? Yes, the struggle Olympics is real. This is all this is. I won't go any further, but what did I say? Look what's highlighted. She says whose conviction for aggravated indecent sexual assault was overturned on a technicality. What did we learn, ladies and gentlemen, as I've told you about technicalities and so forth? Denial of due process is what? not a technicality. So this article, just looking at it, from how she started to now I'm in the middle of it, just shows how much bullshit she put into wrapping this. She didn't spend a week on writing this. She didn't feel bad for a whole week of the closer. I was in a bad state for a week. You didn't even, I bet she didn't see the special. I'm willing to bet she didn't see the special. She talks about him making jokes about the. Let me say this too. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but she was talking about the Ray Rice joke that Chappelle did in Deep in the Heart of Texas that he did in 2017. Comedians make jokes about everything. It's a part of life. It's a part of the stage. They make fun of themselves. They make fun of their kids. They make fun of their wives. So it's okay. You'd be okay with him cracking jokes on everybody except gay people and black women. They don't know whether he can't crack jokes on. Do you say anything about Lisa Lampanelli and the racial jokes she would make? Or Sarah Silverman about this bullshit joke she made about Dr. King? Did you talk about Don Rickles? You know, I wish George Carlin and Richard Pryor were alive to see this. The world that they left when they broke new ground into stand-up comedy, and Lenny Bruce for that matter, because he started it. I can just only see his face and reaction how they would handle cancel culture. George Carlin in particular. George Carlin would write, I think, he could have a week of material just on cancel culture. That's how funny that man was. And when I'm reading this, yes, this article is written not by somebody who knows what they're talking about, who actually is objective in their reporting and in their writing, but more it comes across as somebody that is caught up too much into their feelings. You're talking about R. Kelly. Uh, it's comedy. You quote Brittany Cooper, which is a big mistake. So just reading these, I can't read any further because I'm pressed for time, but she talks about Tory Lanez shooting Megan Thee Stallion, and I'm hearing that is BS too. That Tory Lanez shooting, that didn't happen like they talked about. So people need I mention the blacks' public support of Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. All the bitches within me are tired. Yeah, you bring up R. Kelly. She screws this up with even O.J. Simpson. I'm gonna bring up O.J. Simpson. I'm gonna bring up Kevin. She mentions Kevin Hart. So she mentions Kevin Hart. She mentions OJ, and she doesn't even have a clue of OJ. Y'all know I've talked about that OJ Simpson case. But she goes and even talk about Kevin Hart's history of homophobia, the harm it might have caused to black gay boys in particular, and instead to grieve his fellow comedians' loss of the opportunity to host the 2019 Oscars. Not only do we not cancel famous black men, you can't cancel somebody that walked away from $50 million. How do you cancel? You can't cancel a millionaire. That's the problem. You're going to cancel somebody because you don't like what they say? Of course, Dave Chappelle don't care what you say. Kevin Hart doesn't care what you say either. And I know OJ don't care what you say. No, George Carlin didn't give a damn about nobody's feelings at all. He didn't care about anything, how he hurt, whether you were hurt or offended by his jokes or not. Just like Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac would run his jokes into the side of you, and he didn't care how you took it. I'll never forget my folks were telling me how he was performing. He was doing the Kings of Comedy tour back in the late '90s, and he came to New Orleans, and Bernie was not even the headliner; it was somebody else. But Bernie got on stage and noticed the kid was in the crowd, and he actually told the family, "You dumb MFs, why you brought this kid here? Why you brought the kid? Because I'm not holding nothing back." He said, "I'm not holding anything back," and he didn't. And you know, Steve Harvey too, and y'all know, yeah, y'all know how I like to do Steve Harvey up in here. It was Steve Harvey's birthday yesterday as well. Yeah, that's right. I turned 65, 645. Yeah, that's right, player. 5 after 4 and 6 always at the downside of the Rolex. Yeah, it's downside on the Rolex and points down right to my wallets. Not wallet, my wallets. I got 2 different colors. I got platinum in the right and I got gold on the left. Which one you want? I'll take everything. My folks were watching Judge Steve Harvey earlier. But you know, Steve Harvey was talking about how he couldn't do comedy even today, and it's bad. And Damon Wayans was the same way as well. He said, but Damon Wayans said the same thing when he was on after he did that interview with the Breakfast Club, where he defended Bill Cosby and got criticized for it. He said he was quitting. According to Deion Cole, he said Damon was quitting comedy because he's like, I'm an American. I'm not no longer American. I don't have an opinion anymore. Yeah, he's right about this. Cancel and political correctness has killed comedy. It has. It's killed comedy. Yeah, he's right. And he says the only person, now this was a quote I noticed, the only person that can say what they want to say on stage is Dave Chappelle because he's not sponsor driven. He's subscription. And what Steve is saying in that, and I agree with Steve, is that Dave Chappelle is someone people flock to. They like to hear what he has to say because he doesn't hold anything back. And when he walked away from Comedy Central on that deal, that sent a message to a lot of people. Like, whoa, you're walking away from $40 million or $50 million. They throw the book at you and they throw the checkbook to you and you're going to walk away from it. Why? Because of my convictions. Now, the question is, did it work out for Dave in the end? I think it did. Professor Big Shirley. No Maximus royalty. Not Free Willy, Free Big Shirley. Professor Clump. Yeah. Wait, did y'all see Steve Harvey's? Did y'all see Steve Harvey's suit to celebrate his birthday? Steve Harvey walking around like a crawfish. Look at that. I'll be damned. Let me just say right here, Y'all, I don't give a damn if you tweet. I don't give a damn if you twat. I don't give a damn if you don't like what I's got to say right here. I wear red because my lips get red every time I talk damn too much, making that money. I wear red and I wear green. My Christmas colors. And that's right, because Santa Claus coming to town 365 days, not just Christmas. Y'all just mad because y'all can't afford all of this redness here that I'm wearing. Say it. Go get my limo. Steve looking like a crawfish. Man, y'all, somebody, I had somebody, one of my friends. I can't find it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me show y'all. Well, fucking look like Steve looked like Hellboy. Look at this. Hold on. Steve is Hellboy. Yeah. I'm gonna knock some enemy's ass out today. Knuckles. What your ass say, Sonic? What? I mean, your ass, Sonic. But happy birthday, Steve. I've taken I've taken over every damn show on TV. I'm even Elmo. Yeah. Yeah, Professor Crunk. Yeah. Yeah, I think she was. Most people don't know she was actually doing the thud sounds in Jurassic Park when the water was shaking. And let me let me say this because people gonna say I'm wrong. For there may be some people who don't like what I'm saying about Professor Crunk and Jamel Pew. Jamel Pew Pew. Let me say this: the reason why I criticize them, the reason why I crack jokes on them, is because of what's going on inside of them, and particular what they're doing, attacking straight heterosexual black men. I have a problem with that. You ladies have, it appears to me, some serious issues. Either in your personal life, I don't know what their relationships are with their father, with their brothers, or whatever. I don't know what happened to them. My personal opinion, I think they're getting paid to do crap like that. But this was nothing but a hit piece on Dave Chappelle. I'm not even going to read the whole thing because all of it is just flat out garbage. But you guys can take a look at the Vanity Fair article if you like. But we're going to get into our final topic right now, ladies and gentlemen. And these two cops that were fired and charged for the arrest of a 73-year-old woman with dementia. Now, this happened in Loveland, Colorado. Now, let me be clear about something just for everybody. You know who I am. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you like this channel. Please, also, I got to ask you to donate to the Cash App. Thank you, Black Voltron, for putting it out. You said, I saw the Kings of Comedy twice when they came to Oakland. Best comedy show ever. Man, I have seen Chris Tucker perform. Unfortunately, I never seen Bernie Mac. Yeah, that tour was hot. I've seen Kevin Hart do his, I believe it was I think it was Laugh at My Pain, or it might have been the one before that, but it was in 2010. I went to go see it with my best friend, and we saw that. And Kevin was funny, but some of the opening acts that he had were just as funny. If not funny, I enjoyed. Thank you, Black Voltron. That's okay, computer. Yeah, really. Some people don't. Well, this is just for anybody. You could donate to the channel. I appreciate you, Computer Robots, because you're also a member of the Patreon too. So I respect that, and I respect the fact that you always tune in. So don't worry, brother. But anybody else, if you could donate to the Cash App, to the PayPal, or the Zelle, that would be cool. Yeah, certain countries have certain restrictions on stuff, but I'm going to share this final thing I want to talk about. This incident involving a 73-year-old woman with dementia who was fired, who was involved with two cops. Now, I said this happened in Loveland, Ohio. Now, this happened about 7 months ago, but I wanted to see this because this actually broke my heart. I was upset by seeing this. I appreciate you, Danielle. Yes. I've been hurt by black women. Absolutely. I've been hurt. All the women I've dated primarily were black women in my life. I've had one Hispanic, well, she was a date, but I never had a Hispanic girlfriend. I never had a white girlfriend. All women I dated looked like me, looked like my mother. The woman who I'm seeing now is a black woman. But when I was growing up, I got teased and picked on by black women. I had my heart's broken by them. And the way I look at it is their loss. Move on. You're a prize, Danielle. Never forget that. But I'm sure even though I'm praising our black sisters like Danielle, Miss Lemieux or Pepe Le Pew and Professor Clump would say, I disrespect black women, even though I'm dating a black woman. But this happened. Okay, so let me rewind this. This happened, ladies and gentlemen, about 7 months ago now. It was brought to my attention because I don't know if anybody watches this channel. Excuse me one second. It's called Audit the Audit. And they did a video. Shout out to them. Y'all should go watch this. Watch and subscribe to this channel because they go in detail about interactions with the police over several things, including the right to recording the police officers while you're on campus, officers arresting people, what you should and shouldn't do, although they're not attorneys. I should stress that. They talk about all of the stuff, the right and wrong of police interactions. So I would ask you all to subscribe to that channel because this is big. So as I'm saying, sitting here, I saw the video earlier this morning of this arrest and it caught my attention. It broke my heart. Now, this was a 73-year-old woman with dementia. Her name is Karen Garner.
Tracking and beyond this hour, where the police force in the United States is yet again mired in a new controversy.
I don't know what channel this is, WION. Now, this woman, I'm going to play the video. This is a 73-year-old woman with dementia. She went into a Walmart and took some items. She took Nestle's Crunch Bar. She took some candy, some clothes, some other items, and didn't pay for it. So they tried to stop her. Now, she didn't know being obviously she had dementia, she didn't know any better. But this is what happened. Okay, so this is a 27-minute clip. And I'm going to play this video. I can't play all of it. But watch what happens, how they handle this woman. Okay? This is a mentally ill woman. Love you too, Judah Queen. Now throw that ass in a circle. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. My girlfriend's
All right,
probably
let's stop,
watching.
ma'am.
You know, critics tell me, "Who you telling?"
I don't think you want to play it this way.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to joke
Ma'am.
around this, but all right. So let me start over. So this is the video. Now I'm gonna play it.
Ma'am, police, stop. You want to stop with lights on, siren? Stop. You just left Walmart. Do you need to be arrested right now? No, no, no. Okay.
Who asked to be
Let's
arrested?
stop. Come on. Come on.
I'm going home.
No, 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 on the ground. Stay on the ground. On the ground.
Now look how he slams this woman.
On the ground.
He throws us. This woman is now, from what I understand, not only does she have dementia, she's only weighs 80 pounds. From what I'm hearing in the police report, from what is being reported, she's only weighed 80 pounds at this time. She's frail and suffering from dementia. Then on top of that, she's only barely 5 feet tall. Now, there was this court case called Graham about use of force, especially on a fleeing suspect. And let me just clarify, I'm not giving legal advice. Don't construe this as legal advice or that my comments are creating an attorney-client relationship. But those were this old court case called Graham. And basically, the use of force that officers can use when a suspect is fleeing. And when you saw the video, the woman was saying, "I'm going home." She was walking at a turtle's pace. And this officer throws her and grabs her to the ground. Now watch further what happens.
Bravo 242. After a short struggle, she's now detained. Come on.
Now, how much guts does it take to detain a grandma?
Why did you do that? I told you to stop.
So this
You don't
happened
get to
on
act this way.
June 26,
Come on.
2020.
Stay on the ground.
And these idiots don't know
All right.
that this woman, something's wrong with
Let's
this woman.
stand up. Why are you doing this, ma'am? All right. Stand up.
I'm not doing anything.
Right now you're resisting, which is not going to fly with me. And before that, you tried to steal from Walmart. And they caught you and took the stuff back. Stand up. Oh, boy.
I'm not going anywhere.
Why are you fighting with me? And why are you trying to slip the cuffs off?
I'm going home.
Stop.
I'm going home.
No, you're not.
Now watch this.
Are you finished? Are you finished? We don't play this game. You understand me? If you try to kick me, oh, this is going to be bad.
I'm going home.
Stop.
I'm going
Hey.
home.
Watch this heifer.
I'm going home.
Now they slam her on the car.
Are you finished?
I'm going home.
Hey, stand up. We're not going to hold you.
All right, let's go to the ground. On the ground. On the ground.
Now this is
Why are
not the
you doing
case.
this?
You gotta watch what happens in a little bit. Watch what happens next.
I'm going home.
Now these officers, I can't blame it. Derek, Computer Robot says they're not trained. They weren't really trained well to deal with people with mental illness and health issues. They should be. They should be. They should know when someone they do know when somebody, though, something is wrong with that person. They should know and ascertain if you're asking questions and they don't give you straight answers. Maybe there's something's off with this person. But it did not take that amount of force to throw a 73-year-old, 80-pound woman to the ground like that, or slam her in the car like they did. And this is not the worst part.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to search her real quick. No.
Yeah, you don't want to find any Depends
for a
or grape
minute.
juice on her.
And she was almost got her handcuffs off.
Searching for that. It's a dangerous weapon.
I'm going home.
No, you're not. All right, stand up.
I'm going home.
Stand up.
I'm going home. I'm going home.
What's that?
I'm pushing.
Oh, there we go. All right. Sit down.
I'm going home.
Sit down.
I'm
down.
going home.
Get in the cart.
In you go.
Do not hook onto him.
I'll come on the other side and grab her.
Quit. Quit.
What? What are you doing?
Now,
Get
this
out
is
of
the
here.
worst
This is
thing.
not your business. Come on.
Now this man,
Get in the cart.
now this you see a stranger who saw him slam that woman to the ground. He stops his car, asks the officer, was it necessary to do that much aggression? And the officer tells him to mind his own business.
There you go.
This man did.
What's that? Who's my sergeant?
Yeah.
Okay, well, first, I can tell you that. Sergeant Metzler, he's at the police department. You can go talk to him if you have an issue.
Yeah, give me your card so I can put a report.
Okay.
I see you is there how you throw the little kid.
Little kid?
Well, I don't know
He's not
how
a little kid.
He
This is what
was
happened.
just walking and I see you grab him.
Stole from Walmart and refused to stop, refused to listen to lawful orders, and to fight me. This is what happens when you fight the police. I have to use force to safely detain her. That's what this is. This isn't just some random act of aggression.
Oh, well,
I don't know if you realize that.
Yeah, but the way that I see it, you know, was like, that's not.
But you see, you don't know the whole situation. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know, but it's like.
But knowing the situation, you feel differently now?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, like seeing it from there, that guy just walking.
I get that.
Now he dismisses this
So when I
guy.
went to go grab her and talk to her, started running, leaving, pulling away from me,
Now this is
trying to fight me.
That's the thing, I didn't see it running, you know.
So before you go
He
to the
didn't see you
snap
running,
judgment,
so you see the officer lied. She was running. When we look back at that video, was she running? No.
Right here, she was running.
I get that.
I see her walking right
Yeah,
there, you pull over.
I gotta deal with this. You hang tight, okay?
Get your feet in the car.
Alright. Let me see your feet. Let's get her out of the ground. I'll hobble her, and then we'll get her on the ground. On the ground. On the ground.
They hog tied this. Oh God.
We will figure that out.
Stop doing that.
They They had no training. What the hell kind of training they had? If they did have training, they need to
All right. I'm trying to get in
fire
the car
whoever
again.
that was.
Or we got more people.
Whoever trained them, they need to be fired. They didn't do a great job.
A concerned citizen. Yeah, we're good. So, I can help get her in the car.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Come on. Stand. Yeah. Yep. All right, sit down. Okay. You got him?
I have this. Hey, we're gonna sit in the car, okay?
I want my credit card.
We'll get it.
I want my credit card.
Yep. So I went up, I found her. Oh.
Did we catch her here walking on foot?
Yeah, she was walking right here. I hit my light siren. She kept walking. Said, "Please stop." Stop. And she looked at me, kept going, saying, "No, I'm going home." So I went up to grab her, started pulling away from me and stuff like that. So I was by myself, so I went to the ground. We struggled and rolled for a little bit.
I see that.
Yeah. And then I got her detained. She showed up while I had her up against the car because I couldn't get her in the car and all that stuff. So we struggled over there for a little while. And then we brought her into this car because mine was locked. And she wouldn't get in. She'd get in, wiggle out, get in, wiggle out, all this stuff. And then finally, we're like, let's get to the ground, get her in a hobble.
She been drinking or something? Or?
I have no idea. She hasn't talked to me much.
Okay.
You didn't ask what was wrong with that.
All right. Let's go down to the station.
Yeah.
Go from there. So we have.
I still need to figure out what we have there.
Okay.
This-
Do you want him to go? You want Capella to go over there?
Could you go do that? Because they got the property back from her before she left.
Okay, from the shoplifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go over there and see what she's.
How much?
Uh,
What?
How much?
Hold on.
All that jazz.
I'm not trained as a medical professional, but even I can see something was wrong with that lady. I'm going home. I'm going home. They got the property back, and she still walked out of Walmart.
No, I just came here because she left and I found her. You're the bomb.
All right. And I'll meet you guys.
Cool.
downstairs.
Thanks. Cool. Thanks.
You guys ready?
Yep, we're good.
Little buddy, dude.
Little buddy, little money, that's all it was.
There's blood on her.
Yeah, it's her blood. You're not bleeding, are you? Oh, he probably wants to talk to you.
He just showed up and started phoning us, asking us.
Yeah. I've explained to him the situation. He's a lot better now.
Miss Sergeant didn't even do a good job. Now,
You said you're fighting. I would have gotten it quicker.
I have it. You will have it with you. I will not lose it. I promise. What's your date of birth, Karen? What's your date of birth, Karen?
now watch this. I
What's your
fast
date of
forwarded
birth?
a
What's your
little
date of
bit.
birth? What's your date of birth? What's your date of birth? Okay. Negative. Sorry. I got nothing else. It's just the credit card she has. Copy. She's probably like 4'10", 5 foot, maybe like 100 pounds. Hold that for me. And that's a good idea. She's a frail little thing, but she's Riley. We're going to female side or male side? Okay. Is it nothing unclocked through now?
I didn't know that.
Hey, you got the door open. Come on, Karen. You're gonna run. Good thing we got the hot. Yep. We got her. That's okay. We got you.
You fat, out of shape motherfucker.
But you didn't. Where do we want her at? Up. Probably want to waffle off.
Put your knees on the bench. Put your knees on the bench.
Just let her.
Okay.
Now,
do not kick me.
Sit up. Come on, let's sit. Don't kick anybody. I can't. Stay right there.
I can't watch anymore. I'm sorry. So that's basically how this ends. But then this happened.
Welcome back to former Loveland police officers have turned themselves in to face criminal charges nearly a year after the violent arrest of Karen Garner. Austin Hopp is accused of using excessive force while taking the 73-year-old woman with dementia into custody.
Daria Jalali is charged with misconduct and failing to report her partner's excessive use of force. Newly released court documents showed the officers who allegedly dislocated Garner's shoulder and broke her arm knew about her injuries and knew it would be bad if people found out. To talk more about this case, our 9 News legal expert and MSU Denver professor Whitney Traylor joins us now. Hey, Whitney, good morning.
Good morning, Natasha. Good morning, everyone.
So I want to start with these criminal charges. Can you explain the charges and what the potential penalties are?
Yeah, these charges, it's interesting. So the initial one, the former officer Austin Hopp, he was charged with a felony, class 3 felony assault for causing serious bodily injury. But interestingly, he was also charged with an attempt to influence an officer. But what he did, or what the basis for that charge is that when he filed his report, he made substantial omissions, essentially attempting to recreate a narrative. And they claim that when she asked for medical assistance, Karen Garner, that she didn't respond. And the video shows that she was complaining about her shoulder over 20 times. And in the original report, he didn't even mention an injury. He said there were no injuries, and it now appears that they did actually know, because that shoulder was dislocated and completely
Yes, her shoulder was dislocated. And on top of that, if you remember earlier in the video when they talked about blood, whose blood was it? They said it was her blood. They knew that she was cut somehow, that she was bleeding, if you notice, from her mouth when they slammed her on top of the car. I'm gonna finish this video, but they ended up, I'll just tell you after this video,
looked very out of place. So those are the charges, and interestingly, these come under the new police accountability laws as well. So that's going to come into play as well as in terms of the penalties.
Well, the former officers have also been sued in federal court on civil claims. The department is also being investigated. What do you expect will come from these separate cases?
Right. So a civil lawsuit has already been filed, and that's been filed under 42 USC 1983, which is a statute that says when somebody's acting under the color of state law, so a police officer in his official capacity violates a constitutional right, that's a civil violation. So they've asserted those violations under the Americans with
that I wanted to revisit. And you mentioned that this is going to be one of the first cases in the state involving Colorado's new police accountability law. Can you tell us how this new law will work in the case?
Right. This is going to be super interesting. And this is a case of really one of the first cases. The arrest of Karen Garner that led to all of this, that happened 1 week after the police accountability was signed into law. So if they are convicted, these police officers or former officers, they will be prevented from ever having their peace officer certification in Colorado ever. And so what's interesting is that this is one of the first times we're going to see a potential liability for an officer for failing to intervene. And that's the police accountability bill. And so they can also be liable individually, these former officers, for up to $25,000 or 5% of any civil judgment, whichever is less. So this is a case really of first impression, and it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. And I would suspect there could be appeals, and so it'll be a long time before it gets sorted out. But we'll see how the law works.
We've had so many conversations recently around police and policing. And after seeing this video, what are your thoughts? Do you think that this is a systemic issue, or are these isolated incidents?
It's a great question, and police and policing are completely under the microscope right now, understandably, and people are trying to figure out, hey, is this systemic issues? And here you have to wonder, because had the video not come out, which was just released in April of this year, I don't know what would have happened. The report appears to be inaccurate, as it didn't identify any injuries and things like that. The DA and assistant DA under the previous administration had actually watched the video and apparently didn't, obviously didn't make a charge. So some would say, look, this is systemic, because without the video, this would have been, par for the course. Now, other people are saying, look, police officers are constantly in very dangerous situations. They escalate quickly, and we as civilians don't always see how quickly things can escalate. And that's why they're trained to, get people into submissive and get them in the handcuffs and things like that. But here, none of those elements appeared to be present. From the video, it did not appear that anyone was in danger. Certainly not the officer when Karen Garner, it was somewhat obvious that she was discombobulated. She only weighed 120 pounds. It really looked like the only danger was her being close to a road and possibly getting hit by.
The only danger to Miss Garner were the two police officers, these demons who attacked her. And it's actually worse as to what happened to her when she got back to holding. For instance, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm reading this article from the Washington Post, apparently she was held in the holding cell for hours on end despite asking for medical attention. One of the officers during the video can be heard the moment when he injured her shoulder. He said, quote, question, ready for the pop? Hear the pop? The officer who initially handcuffed that fat piece of shit, I'm going to just say it, who handcuffed her in the beginning, because he is a piece of shit. And you see, I take umbrage to this stuff because I have held, and I know elderly, I had a grandmother who had Alzheimer's. I didn't know her that, she died when I was 7. But nevertheless, I have a soft spot in my heart for people going through that like that, who lose their mental faculties. And you don't do that to people. And I don't care what her skin color is. She's a human being. I didn't like it one bit. Then it got further, even went worse further than that. They were high-fiving each other off. According to the lawsuit in the article here, Sarah Schenkel, who is an attorney representing the Garner's family, called the video heart-wrenching and unseeable. Schleek, who obtained the initially inaudible video last August, referring to the booking cell video, worked with a forensics audio engineer to capture the dialogue. She said, at one point I broke down and I wept because it was so wrong. I don't even know Karen, but it could have been my grandmother, and I can't imagine what the experience of having to live through that would be. If I had been her son, if that were my grandmother, that they had done that to, I would probably lose my law license, ladies and gentlemen. I would go off. As Corey Holcomb would say, I'm county bound. I don't encourage violence, let me be clear, but I'm a human being, and if someone did something like that to who I loved, I couldn't hold it. This was terrible.
Car. So I think some people are saying this was terrible judgment by this individual. There was just no need to escalate so quickly in that circumstance. And this really kind of brings the conversation back, I think, to the notion of training. And that's what a lot of police reform advocates are saying is that there's just not enough training. On the other hand, people are saying you didn't need training in this instance. When you saw that she was discombobulated, it wasn't a dangerous situation. The level of force was escalated so quickly and so excessively. That's what the argument will be, and that's what these criminal and civil charges revolve around. So I think those officers have a real uphill battle in terms of their defense.
Well, you made great points, Whitney. Appreciate you coming on the show and breaking this case down. Thank you.
Yeah. So she was awarded. Now, here's the thing. There is a positive outcome to this. These officers were all fired and charged. The city of Loveland actually settled a $3 million lawsuit with the family. The three officers either that were there, including, I believe, the sergeant who came there initially, he was fired as well, or forced to step down. And that was because but he wasn't charged with anything because he didn't physically manhandle her. And the city council got questioned over this. This was how controversial.
Hundreds of thousands of people have now watched the video of Karen Garner's arrest.
The 73-year-old with dementia was injured after being forced to the ground by a Loveland police officer, and her family is now suing. And the video is raising major questions about the conduct of Loveland police.
As Denver 7 CB Cotton reports, city leaders say they need to see accountability for this.
Nearly a year ago, jailhouse surveillance captured these Loveland police officers as they watched body camera footage from their arrest of 73-year-old Karen Garner. The officers fist bump, laugh, and joke about the ordeal. Now the world is watching and has questions for these officers.
To see the kind of behavior, reaction, comments that were made during that, that video, I was shocked.
Loveland City Council member Andrea Sampson says this has to be addressed, and she's calling for the creation of a civilian review board separate from the police department. Denver 7 spoke with Loveland Mayor Jackie Marsh and Council member Sampson ahead of a special meeting called for Tuesday.
Ms. Garner could be our grandmother or our aunt or our mom or, us.
It was heartbreaking. Yeah, that would be my first reaction.
Marsh says her next reaction is to ask for answers.
Why wouldn't that raise a red flag?
Loveland police have said the department was unaware of the allegations and lawsuit until the video was released.
Once that information came to us yesterday afternoon, we have gotten on this case aggressively, rapidly.
Although this video says otherwise. Blue Team, the department's system to track uses of force, but it's unclear if the arrest was ever reviewed.
I do have a lot of questions. It seems that something should flag our police department and investigations. You know, this is almost a year old now.
The community has questions too. Public comments during the special meeting went almost an hour long, with people demanding accountability for the officers and city leaders.
I'm furious at the officers. I'm also furious at you all as city council members.
CB Cotton, Denver 7.
All four officers now have been placed on administrative leave, and there are increasing calls to fire all of them. But tonight the city attorney says the council doesn't have that kind of power.
So they got dealt with. She got her family, rather, got a lawsuit settled in her favor, and the officers that were involved were fired. But they called
New tonight at 8, Loveland Police Chief addresses a citizen oversight board for the first time since the violent arrest of 73-year-old Karen Garner. What started as a chance for the chief to explain himself turned into calls for him to resign from his position. Denver 7's Addie Guajardo joins us live from Loveland tonight. Addie, frustrated residents made their point clear.
Jessica, the meeting wrapped up less than an hour ago, and residents that spoke out said they've lost trust in their police chief. One resident actually stood up and told the police chief he will never be able to regain his credibility. The police chief expressed concerns over the arrest, even pointed to the transparency from the police department, but citizens here tonight weren't buying it.
Either you didn't know, which means that you're incompetent, or you did know and you're lying to us.
Frustrations flared.
I actually believe you should resign as well as the other officers.
As Loveland residents demanded answers,
It's hard for me not to wonder how much of this is lies this evening.
they questioned when Loveland Police Chief Robert Tyser found out about the violent arrest of Karen Garner. Garner's family attorney says she suffered a broken arm, a dislocated shoulder, and a sprained wrist during the arrest for allegedly shoplifting less than $14 of items from a Walmart.
One of our employees here at this department brought
all that for less than $14.
my attention the video that was released.
Police Chief Tyser explained the investigation process to citizens and the police department's Citizen Advisory Board. He firmly repeated he didn't find out about Garner's arrest until April 14th of this year, nearly 10 months after the incident, and says he took action.
There's no doubt this is as serious as it gets. This is our community.
He also addressed the Garner family, who felt his apology fell short at the press conference on Friday.
I'm sorry that if she feels we didn't give her an apology or we're not empathetic, we're extremely concerned about this situation. And this is our community too. We work here, we live here. We want to have a great community. We want to see our community members treated fairly, equally, and with compassion.
3 officers involved in the arrest resigned. A police sergeant remains on administrative leave. Garner's attorney filed a federal lawsuit against the city and 5 officers. City Councilman Don Overcash says he was shocked by the video.
Justifiable outrage and anger is understandable. Patience and understanding, getting to the root cause, addressing specific issues, rather than just using the broad paintbrush saying all police are bad. That is simply not true. We all know that.
Now, Councilman Overcast, who you just heard from right now, proposed a trust committee to address various issues. The district attorney's office is also investigating this case to see if any of these officers involved in this arrest will be facing charges. After that,
we know that they will be facing charges for what they did to Ms. Garner. I know I spent a lot of time on this, but this really upset me to talk about this tonight, what happened to her, just because I'm familiar with people that suffer from that suffer from dementia. I'm familiar with people in mental health care facilities now. They showed up in protest 8 months ago with this. And this is how you affect change, ladies and gentlemen. When you get charges to get put on these officers,
Copter 4 flew over the protest this afternoon outside.
this is what they did.
This body cam footage prompted the concern. It shows the forceful arrest of 73-year-old Karen Gardner, a Loveland woman living with dementia. Dylan Thomas broke the story, and he continues coverage live tonight in Loveland. The forceful arrest of Miss Garner, and as well as the laughing of the officers after they watched that body camera back. The people today saying they were frustrated that it took nearly a year after that incident for the officers to resign, and also that it took it becoming public for them to do just that. Now, this video here from just a few hours ago shows that there was briefly some disruption.
Oh, they got to bring out the guns.
And others showed up, causing arguments. But for the most part, this was a very peaceful protest. Multiple speakers shared their frustrations with the local police and their handling of the Karen Gardner arrest. While they were happy to hear that the officers, Ahop and Jalali, were no longer on patrol, they said they were mad to hear that they resigned, as firing gave them the opportunity to continue, prevented them and their ability to continue collecting pension.
That's the problem. They resigned. They were not fired. If you're fired with cause, you can't collect the pension. So the 3 officers.
Our goal at the Loveland Police Department has always been to make our community proud. We failed, and we are very sorry for that.
Loveland Police Chief Robert Ticer, noting his department is under the spotlight for the way it handled the arrest of a 73-year-old woman with dementia, announced personnel changes today.
Former officers Austin Hott and Daria Jalali, along with former community service officer Tyler Blackett, are no longer employed with the Loveland Police Department.
The arrestee, Karen Garner, suffered a broken arm, dislocated shoulder, and sprained wrist during an arrest for allegedly shoplifting $13.88
$13
from Walmart. The officers later recorded laughing and joking about Garner's injury while reviewing body cam video.
That is not the Loveland Police Department.
Chief Ticer not happy to see that video.
The Loveland Police Department is comprised of men and women that are out there taking calls for service right now that are working very hard.
So they all got, So I know I spent a lot of time on this, y'all, but they got fired. Well, they didn't get fired. They're resigning, and Jaleel and Hop, rightfully so, are facing charges. They've all pleaded not guilty. I believe they're set for trial actually this year. Hop faces some felony charges because he lied on a police report. But here's the thing. Police officers, as you saw in that police report, lie all the time. They lie all the time, and they exaggerate the truth about what happens in a court case, what happened, the truth and facts of that circumstances of the case. They're going to do that, anything to justify what they did. For instance, they'll take a person flipping them the middle finger, which is protected speech. And I've seen this in a video. And the guy's walking off. He flips the officer off. The officer comes back around, stops him, and confronts him about what he did, and tries to say, well, you know what? You were disorderly. Put your hands behind your back. They'll arrest him for disorderly conduct. They do slick shit like that. But $13. Walmart is I don't condone shoplifting, larceny, things of that nature. But $13.80, that's petty. Walmart has a $1 billion corporation. Yes, they have loss prevention. Yes, it hurts them, but $13.88. That's what they did this for. Well, now they will have to think about what they did over this $13.88 for some time in prison. And they've lost their job. They don't have their job. This Officer Hop, let me show y'all. Officer Hop, it's not fun when the rabbit is holding the gun. This is his mugshot. And he will stand trial. He's said to stand trial. I don't know the results of the case yet. But Daria Jaleel, she's going to stand trial too, because she's just as wicked. And the fact that they were laughing about it made it even worse. But what I'm talking about, guys, and to wrap it up, they will lie about this stuff. This is her here. They'll lie about what they did. They distort what they did. Apparently, she's actually set for trial, Jaleel, this month. This officer Jaleel. So I can't wait till what happens. But with that, now she is facing. Now Hop's facing the felony. And she's charged with 3 misdemeanors for her connection because she failed to intervene and excessive use of force. That's what she's facing charges on. She could have gotten worse. Should have. But yeah, when they did this to this frail white woman. Think of the stuff that they do to Negroes. Now, if she was black, they would have killed her. I know somebody made that comment. She was black, they would have killed her. I feel terrible for what happened to her. But that's the type of stuff. You saw how he lied in the police report. They do it every day. That's my line of work, ladies and gentlemen. Well, look, it's been a long show. I know I went on and on about stuff. We're looking at this video. I was trying to keep it under 2 hours, but we're going to go wrap this up. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please, ladies and gentlemen, donate to the Cash App at the bottom. GavinRichardEsq. We don't monetize the channel. If you liked what you've seen tonight, we've been hot and heavy in here. I'd appreciate it if you could like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Donate to this channel because this channel, of course, is not monetized. They will do whatever they can to keep it from being monetized and keeping my views down. Oh, yes, absolutely. That elderly black woman in New York that was killed, Eleanor Bumpus, back in New York. Yeah, they do that. Yeah, they have. Hell, they've killed babies. Look what happened in Philadelphia, the MOVE organization, when they bombed that suburb of Philadelphia with those I said suburb, but that building with all those black people in it, and Wilson Good, that Negro who covered it up, who okayed it. Hey, Black Mama. Hey, Black Mama, what's the drama? I'm just seeing this report. Andre Leon Talley, he's a legend at Vogue. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing this because Nicole posted it, so sometimes I get the alerts. But it said he died. Fashion designer. Okay. I'm sorry, I was just looking at that. But yeah, please donate to the Cash App if you can. Gavin Richard Esquire, or GooglePay or PayPal at gavin.grichard@gmail.com. Anything you could do to support the channel, since we're not monetized, would be appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to also ask if you check out our seasoning, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Go and order you some seasoning today, ladies and gentlemen. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish. And finally, a couple of other things too. I want everybody, if you can, to go to our Facebook page at Commonwealth Cause. We're wrapping up. I can tell you our legal has wrapped up right now. We're putting the final edits on the book. So the book will be available soon, guys. It will be available soon. That's the Nawny's website. Go into the shopping cart right there to order you some seasoning. I'd appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. And shout out to you, Black Mama. I'm glad you're doing okay. Shout out to you, Rosalind, because I have been asking for you to see where you were. I usually used to seeing you, and I hadn't seen you for a while. So I'm glad you're back. I pray everything is good with you, Queen. but now, of course, I got the banner up with the Kamala Kaz and Nornies. I didn't want to do that, but this is the Facebook page. This is where you got to go if you want more information on the book. We'll be posting dates when it will be available. I'll also have when it will be available. We'll do a party when we release the book, a virtual party. And I'm going to invite some of my friends and family on here to talk about it. So we might have a special guest or two that you've never seen come out and do the special for us when we release it. So that's what my plan is. But also, ladies and gentlemen, go to Spotify and listen to a few songs, including but not excluding Video Soul. That is one of our latest singles. I have more music that I'm writing as well. You know your boy is busy. Video Soul, I always promote that. And also, of course, our theme song, last but not least, Got to Get On Up. Since we've gotten on down now, it is time to get on up. Thank you to Black Voltron. You're a great mod. You're great. Appreciate the love and support. You're always pushing my stuff. Black Mama, Derek Bailey, a bunch of people. So tune in this Thursday. We're going to have a lot to talk about. If you like the show, I want you to say hell yeah and give me a thumbs up. I want you to hit that notification bell, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, if you love the comments, if you love the channel, if you love our discussion tonight, I'd greatly appreciate it. Guys, I was working and my mouth was drying up talking with you all. So I think I've spoken enough, ladies and gentlemen. But you all be safe, be blessed. Thank you, Drew the Queen. I appreciate it. And I will see you all this Thursday. Please, again, be safe, be out there. We're going to have a lot to talk. I'm going to have a few things to talk about Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go ahead and get on up. I'll holla. Peace.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with the death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll
feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the floor,
baby. Yeah, gotta get on. Come on, baby, gotta get on.
Baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Good night, y'all. I just want to say this right here. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to Steve. Happy birthday. Give me money. Happy birthday to me. Now I'm out here. Y'all better not be making fun of my colors no more. I love red. I love green. Mostly I love green. And everything in between. What your ass say, Cedric?